So what's been going on then, Joe?
I had a crazy Christmas and New Year, actually. Very, very different. I went away for the first time. So we did quite a European Christmas in that we had our main meal on Christmas Eve. Then we just did like stockings in the morning of Christmas Day. Still had like a nice breakfast. But then we were packing and going to the airport early doors Boxing Day. So it was weird. Really, really strange. Compared to normal, where normally Christmas is like a really long extended period for me where I just stay at home with my family because my brother's birthday's on the 27th, so it goes like, and my grandfather is on the 24th, so it's like birthday, Christmas, Boxing Day, birthday, and it carries on, and then like even on like the 30th it's another cousin's birthday, so it's like we're just seeing family non-stop for like a week straight, and then it goes into New Year's, which is normally crazy. But we flew to Kenya to go to the Masai Mara on a safari, which is absolutely insane. Couldn't recommend it enough. We saw loads of IRL Pokémon. It was absolutely awesome. And yeah, I didn't really have much expectation. I tried not to look into it too much, but yeah, I saw some incredible stuff. I'll have to show you this weekend, guys, when I next see you in person. Lots of videos that I took. I also I wrote a diary, and I'm still going through like writing that and extended. I don't know if I'm actually going to post that publicly, but I might at least show you guys it privately once it's all done, which is good to look back on because I would have forgotten like a ton of other details if I hadn't done that. But yeah, so we were doing safari for like 3 days, and then we went to Zanzibar, which is an island of Tanzania, which is a neighboring country to Kenya. Which was much more like a just beach holiday, which was cool to like decompress for like 3 or 4 days after that. So I got very burnt in Zanzibar, so I spent most of the time inside.
Imagine. You get burnt in Coventry, so
yeah. Honestly, some of the worst burn I've ever had, actually. But other than that, it was a really awesome holiday, and I couldn't recommend a safari enough. It was absolutely awesome.
Was it like glamping?
Right.
Yeah, we were in quite a bougie accommodation.
Do you think
I was
and
on
his family were going to be glamping?
I would be really interested in the diary if you were like living in the bush, you know.
I mean, okay, so the lawn was like an open lawn that then did sort of go out into the bush, but obviously it's like guarded by people day and night. But you literally do hear animals creep up to your tent, and they're like eating foliage outside your tent. So you actually do hear all the wildlife, and you are like in it, but essentially all the animals see the tents as buildings essentially. And they are like, where I was at least, it was raised wooden platforms. So it's like a bit of building, and then there was like a back wall that was like the shower and toilet bit. So it wasn't like really a tent like you were going to Glastonbury or something like that. It was like a big built up thing, like a building, but it was physically a tent.
Was there a loo in there?
Yes. So there was a loo and a shower. So it's not like it's
Every
we went
Joe...
up market for sure.
It tells me everything.
I was going to say Joe was probably like risking sunburn every time he went out to shower or something.
I was really worried that the only toilet would be like a communal toilet, like you'd have to go out to, but each tent had its own toilet, which gave me a lot of peace of mind that I didn't have to go strolling out at 2 a.m. and you hear a sound and suddenly you're scrambling up a tree.
So it wasn't a hole in the ground or anything?
No. There was a point where we did have to stop off, and I had to go to like a Portaloo type thing, but it was
start digging.
Not quite. That was quite traumatizing for my mum, but it's much better for blokes. We get away with it a lot easier. And I did take a piss out in the Masai Mara, which was great. We got out for like lunches in the day, literally just like out in open field savannah, which is insane. And we would had a slash out there
whilst staring at like a tiger or lion or something.
Obviously when there wasn't anything around.
Imagine having a wee and worrying about like warthogs coming up to you.
Honestly, warthog was one of the things that actually like popped out a bush. That was the funniest thing actually. That really like shocked one of my cousins. That they like just started strolling away from the camp, and then there was like a dart, and it was a little pumba. Which was brilliant.
The thing is, a lot of people go on safari, and the feedback is always not about like the lions or giraffes and stuff. It's usually just the other random stuff you see, like lemurs or whatever.
I asked Tim what his favorite thing was from like my reel. Oh no, it was Ben who was like, oh, just this gecko that you randomly took a picture of, and that was just like while we were waiting between cars to change over, and I just saw this like crawling up a wall, and that was like his favorite thing that he saw, not the cheetah or anything like that. So yeah,
not anything you wouldn't see completely out of the ordinary in these
Yeah.
wild places. So how big was the clan that went out?
So there was 8 of us. So it was me, my brother, and my parents, and then my uncle, his wife, and his 2 children who were adults as well.
Fair.
So there you go.
Massive family trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure everyone else stays tuned for. We're going to basically do this journal similar to Dad Wrote a Porno. If anyone's listening to that.
Please.
Rab's got his own one from previous journeys too.
Yes.
That was when I was in.
I jest.
Where did I go? Tunisia.
I don't know what you were doing.
Was
Was it Tunisia? It was some sort.
It was
of,
because it was an
some sort of
all-inclusive and I had
pool
nothing
beach,
to do.
Well, it's similar to me actually, Rab, where I was away from technology the whole time. Like I had my phone, but no internet and no service because I wasn't doing like the £10 roaming a day or whatever. So yeah, just being completely away from social media and everything else meant that I had free time to do creative stuff, which is kind of interesting actually.
You have to find enjoyment in other places.
Yeah,
In
I
the
became an
bush.
author.
A genius beyond his time. Ahead of his time. So, Alex, any exciting adventures for yourself?
I mean, that's going to trump pretty much anything that either me or you will do for the rest of our lives, probably. No, I mean, Christmas is the very standard affair for my family and everyone I'm associated with. It's just lots of food. Unlike you guys, I don't have anything like stockings. I don't really get the whole.
You don't do stockings?
No, I don't really get the whole culture and
What, with the name on
Christmas
it?
tradition
or
of that.
I've had the same Winnie the Pooh stocking for 30 years.
Benji's little stocking, I have. On the
Benji's
end of my
little
bed.
stocking. Well, actually, very quickly, what's the best thing you've had out of a stocking? Because they're normally just filled with little gifts.
I mean,
right?
like
Little things.
a video game maybe would probably be one of the that's a high ticket item in a stocking, I would say.
Have you heard of
Amongst the socks and amongst the
Right.
chocolate
Have you heard
coins
of-
and other stuff like that.
Have you heard of Lynx Africa? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's the majority of it's Lynx Africa.
The double set.
But then they might surprise you with a little nugget in there, like, oh, that's actually a good gift.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But yeah, no stockings in the Dow household. Plenty of gifts for the kids, of course. But yeah, just food. We don't tend to do a roast typically with either my family or my in-laws' family. So my dad, every celebration, whether it's a birthday or some sort of Christmas or something like that, we do lobster.
Nice.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I'd rather that, to be honest.
There's lobster noodles, and then loads of like spring roll, like homemade Vietnamese spring rolls, and loads of different like collective of fried foods and loads of different things for Christmas. One of the other days we'll have a hot pot, so we'll just have a massive couple of hot pots in the middle of the massive table, and as Rab's touching my face as I say it.
I have to.
And that's just massive amounts of family just eating hot pot. But I will say I do a roast at when it comes back round to me, because I wait until either Christmas Eve, very late, when everything suddenly goes on sale. So those £60 turkeys suddenly become a tenner, or like Boxing Day or something, and I'll just buy a load of stuff. Like it'll be like maybe lamb, maybe a turkey, maybe some pork, and then I'll do a big roast myself, and then invite my immediate family over. So we try and make the best of everything, because otherwise
You're all over the place. You're going to different houses every day.
Yeah, basically, and I wouldn't have turkey unless I did it myself. So my parents hate the idea of wasting food.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But yeah, it was generally good. Break was too short as per usual. Back to work. 2nd of January. It was the worst.
Would you say this is like the best? Has this been your favorite age for your kids to like enjoy Christmas? Because certainly Mason's like old enough to think about Christmas in like a much more proactive sense, rather than just like you're throwing it all at him and it's all going over his head.
It's kind of weird. So I don't know if he was excited about Christmas.
Okay.
I don't know if it was built up like that enough for him. He just kind of he tends to gets what he wants whenever he wants anyway.
Spoiled brat.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, he likes the idea of presents, and he goes as long as he gets some sort of Hot Wheels or.
I remember that's what
Pokemon
you had a massive box wrapped up when I went to yours, and it was
Yeah.
Hot Wheels, wasn't it? Yeah.
Is that like a Scale Electrics track thing? Is it?
Yeah, it was one of those where like he has to smash it pretty hard, like this whole launcher thing, and it'll just do like a figure 8 into like Stealth at Fort Park or something like that.
Yeah,
Just goes firing up and coming down. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It does like a little jump at the end as well into a bucket.
Genius.
You should show them those YouTube channels that do Hot Wheels, and they do like massive tracks all across the house. And
Well,
they do,
I've seen a few of
point of
those.
view.
He's too obsessed with planets at the moment,
That's
phases of the moon.
nice.
I absolutely
Astronomer.
love this. Yeah, Alex's son is going to be a genius.
Not if I keep. I don't know. throwing
Hot
my bin
Wheels,
soon.
Hot
Get a new
Wheels,
one.
and astronomy.
It's not going to make me any
He's
money.
going to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Terrible investment.
That's going to be great.
I
But
don't know what
yeah,
Nelly's
it was
gonna
good.
do.
It's obviously great to spend some time with the family. But yeah, I need to find something to do where I'm actually just like not working and I can actually spend time with them. That'd be good. One day.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
What about
Benjamin?
you, Rab? Yeah.
My Christmas was really loud.
First
actually.
Christmas as a
It was the
triple
first
household.
kiddie Christmas.
First
yeah.
one, yeah. We stayed over Harriet's parents, then Harriet's nieces came over, one's 4, one's 2, and it was just loud, just the whole day. It was just loud. We went to, I got a bit of a retreat. Dad usually takes us, me and her brother-in-law, to like a local pub, which was great. It's like you wipe your feet on the way out kind of place.
So
like
your brother-in-law, not Harriet's. Come on.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was good though. I mean, I got a couple of drinks, which was nice, and then that was it. That's all I got for Christmas, really.
Couple of drinks.
Couple of drinks and just a headache. Nah, it was all right. It was
And something
Harriet's.
big did happen, right?
Oh yeah, I did get engaged. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Talking about the pint you had.
Yeah, I got engaged on.
That was where you asked for
technically
blessing,
Christmas
I think.
Eve. Christmas Eve. I put a ring in the crib, or the next to me, whatever you want to call it, whilst Harriet was asleep, and then I woke Harriet up and said, "There's something in the crib," and she basically shat her pants because I said there's something in the crib, and it wasn't the baby. She was like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's your present in the crib," and she was like half asleep. Then she said, "It's really dangerous to put something in the crib," and that was just.
So she woke up having a go at you.
Yeah.
I was going to say that sounds like a
Again.
terrible way of doing it as well. So she's in the right, I think, there.
So she was like, "What on earth are you talking about?" I said, "Just go get it then." And then she was like, "Oh, I can't be asked."
You have an
I was like,
argument already.
Yeah. And then she got it, and I didn't. I was tired. I didn't know what I was thinking. I was so tired at the time. And then she said, "Is it a ring?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Is it to go on my left hand?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Well, are you going to ask me?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah. Will
Oh
you marry me?"
yeah.
And then she said yes. So it was really, really just magical. The whole evening.
You'll never forget that.
What I can imagine
I won't.
is it's just
Waking
Ben
up to a
with
bollocking.
a bollocking with a massive grin on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I thought I'll win this. I'll win this.
I'll win
She's
this.
she's not going to win this. Just you wait and you see what I.
Sorry,
what it is.
were you at the in-laws when you were doing that? Were you at
Yeah,
theirs?
yeah,
Or you were-
yeah.
Okay.
So I showed her. I asked her dad and her mum like back in like January, and then of course we announced that we had Nelly in February, and they were like, what's going on? So I was kind of freaking them out a bit at the same time.
Yeah, keep them guessing.
Keep them on their toes. And the funny thing was I showed them the ring the morning of Christmas. I got the ring delivered on Christmas Eve as well because I couldn't go pick it up. So it was a bit stress. And then
That is stressful.
I showed her parents and I said, I'm going to ask her tonight. So they were like getting champagne out on Christmas Eve.
So you were asking for blessing, were you?
Yeah. Oh no, I asked ages ago, and then they got all the like kind of getting ready, and then I didn't even ask until like midnight, and they were all in bed. So yeah, keeping them on their toes, keep them guessing.
Did you do the whole traditional rule of thumb of 3 months' salary on a ring, Rab?
No.
His eyes are bulging.
Yeah.
Try 3 weeks' salary, yeah?
What universe is that? Look, there are some
just joking.
great jewellery shops around.
You got your Oxfam, you got...
I got the biggest one I could find. It doesn't matter.
Biggest in size, not actual diamond. Just it fits around a wrist.
It's just
It's
a
a
rock
bangle.
on a rock on a ring.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
no, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was all good though. A Christmas I can never forget this Christmas. It was just so magical. We didn't have Joe's usual New Year's Eve, which I did definitely miss out. I mean, Joe was in
Well,
Did you guys do anything for New Year's? I was on a
knee-deep
beach
in-
in Zanzibar.
knee deep in bush.
Right. That's our usual New Year's, but not this year.
I'm not turning up to these New Year's again.
No. For the record, it's been always blokes, so good. No, did you guys do anything for New Year's? No.
No.
Good.
I woke up at 12, gave the baby a bottle, and then I went to bed. Happy New Year.
I wasn't.
Alex, did you get up to anything?
New Year's is a blur because I feel like this is one of the few that we've had in recent years where it hasn't like fallen on like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So like New Year's was like a Wednesday,
Yeah.
and then suddenly I'm back to work on a Thursday and a Friday, which is god awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, unlike yourself, Joe, where you were probably on your. Were you back yet? I didn't even know if you were.
No, we were in Zanzibar. We were on the beach.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Partying on the beach with all the hotel staff. It was very bizarre.
Says the guy who can't be on the beach. Otherwise he'll just
Well,
light
at
up.
midnight I could be on the beach. Best time.
Midnight.
Oh, it was so funny. They had a DJ who was like a staff member, and he tried to do like a little speech before New Year's, being like, "It's been a great year, everyone." It was like falling flat completely, and he tried to do the countdown, but he was out of time, so everyone started celebrating as he was on like 6 or something, and then you just hear the mic cut out. I was cracking up so much.
This sounds like our end of show at tournaments.
Yeah. Honestly,
yeah.
he buggered
He's
it. He made us look like pros. I tell you, he really did. Anyway, that'll all be in the diary. Don't worry.
Yeah. Can't wait. Before we leave this segment, best present. What did you get? Anything memorable?
I got a Kindle, and I'm hoping to.
Ooh, nice.
One of my objectives this year is to read more because I've read about a book.
You did start to read
a decade. Yeah, I mean, I read a bit, but I definitely want to read more. So a Kindle is my ambitious present this year to try and make it happen a bit more.
Nice.
I don't really get presents anymore. I'm kind of the person who like.
Didn't treat yourself to anything.
If there's something I want, I tend to just buy it just throughout the year. I got a necklace from Christine, which is a nice gift.
Oh, nice.
So that's constantly worn now. I bought myself. I think I might have tagged you in it, Joe. I bought myself another necklace as well, which has like a jade of the Akatsuki like logo, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool. I thought that looked really, really good.
So yeah, I'm probably I'll wear that this weekend just to feel like it.
Nice.
But yeah, I just tend to get stuff myself. I mean, like Christmas time, I probably spent like 3 days across that period in IKEA looking for furniture to try and start decorating my room a bit, and doing stuff in the house.
I can see it looks lovely.
Well, it's a start. It's something I can actually store things on now.
The foundation, the groundwork.
Rather than just a blank white wall as it has been for a year.
But I can merge into the wall because I'm just as white as the wall, apparently. Best present for myself was I got Dungeons and Dragons. Did you not ask?
You got Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
What do you mean you got Dungeons and Dragons?
Are you going to be a dungeon master?
Oh, I really want to be a dungeon. That's what I want to be.
Please, I actually want to play. I want to try it once, but I want a good. I don't want you to do it. I want a good person to be.
They call
a good dungeon master.
How fun would it be knowing how I explain rules if I was a dungeon master? So
that's the worry.
They call it like a one shot where you can do like just the one campaign in one session, so we should definitely do that. I got the
So what? It gives you a
player-
framework like quest, does it? And it gives you
Yeah,
a team
yeah.
like a roster sheet or something.
We played one for Glenn's birthday on Saturday, which was called it's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's called Call of Cthulhu, which is like a Lovecraft horror.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Lovecraftian horror, and we did a one shot on that, which was great. But you can do the same for Dungeons and Dragons, like you said. It's like there's a dragon in the keep, and you will set your characters. All the characters are set for you, and then you just play.
Yeah.
But you
Cool.
have to.
I
You
think
have
we could
to
get together and do
play
that.
the role. If you're a gnome, you have to do the voice, etc. That's the rule.
Yeah.
And if
mean-
you're a Dungeon Master, you get to play so many characters. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty.
I think that's the thing. Like, it has to be like pretty immersive. I won't obviously dress up for it, but I think like if I'm gonna have to actually get
Really
into
embrace it.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
have to really embrace it. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Um,
it's just what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be
Exactly.
a bit sheepish about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
there was one point when the
Oh, go
Discord
on.
tried to do a Pokemon one for like a month, but it didn't really work out.
That just sounds.
Yeah.
cool.
I think,
I tried to be like the most obnoxious trainer the whole time that was just like sprinting everywhere. That was my
Did Doobs do one?
possibly like
Yeah, I think
at
we
one of the tournaments or something.
No. I think he did a podcast one, or I might be telling it.
I don't know. I can't remember that
Yeah.
specifically, but yeah.
Yeah. I just remember one being out there that was really popular. But there's like Star Wars ones as well, and Alien.
There was I can't remember the name of the podcast, but I really got into a campaign of comedians doing a Star Wars based one. It was so good. I really loved listening to it, having never done it before myself. And that was really enjoyable. So I can see how it can be well done when you get the right crowd.
Yeah, I did one before where I played as a snooty Imperial officer. That was quite fun.
Snooty
Right,
Imperial officer.
We have
Are there any
rabbled
other
on.
kind?
We have rabbled on for way too long. But,
No.
I'm sure the audience will love.
We've
that
barely
segment.
spoken to you or anyone in 20.
Yeah, this is this is actually
There's-
just a catch up. We've not
There's-
spoken to you.
There's actually a huge thing going on this weekend, right?
Oh, is there?
Is there?
I don't know.
There is.
Is it?
It's,
Could it be on our doorstep?
the
Oh.
Birmingham?
It looked like you just tried to dab.
No, I did
Rap.
a drum roll.
Uh,
Oh, but it looks like a dab.
you added a symbol, like a joke, but
but it's you gotta imagine the sound. Yeah, Birmingham Regional Championships is happening this weekend. The first regional this season in the UK. So
The only regional in the UK.
the only regional, first and only,
Wow.
and last.
first and indeed only. Yeah.
Regional
This
this season happening in the UK, not the last event. I think that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Birmingham, big tournament. I think almost I'd say just beyond halfway through the season. I feel like people are trying to gain their expectation as to what their outcomes are going to be this season. So there's quite a large significance placed on the event itself for a lot of players if they are trying to get that World's invite.
Not just Birmingham though, right? I think there's one in Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro as well.
Rio?
Yeah.
And Rio.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got a couple of big tournaments, which is
So we got
fun.
a couple of big tournaments this weekend. So I thought we'd do the good old tier list, as always. Can't beat a tier list, especially for those.
Welcome back to 2025.
We're
Watch
back.
this video for a
Especially
tier
for
list, please.
especially
More
for
of these.
those views, baby.
They've already clicked off. Don't worry.
No, they won't. They won't because I've got the time. I'll do the timestamp, and then they'll
okay,
skip
good.
straight to it. So if you have skipped to it, you're cheating.
Hello.
Listen to the first
You're
20
cheating.
minutes. Listen to the first 20 minutes.
You need to earn it. You need
Yeah,
to
we
earn
need to
this.
earn it. You have to go through the waffle. You have to sprint through it.
This is where you've actually got to intro us because we didn't do one.
You've got
Do we
to
not-
have
do
your
we not
greens
do an
before
interview?
the state. Well, you may as well just do it now because that's what we're going to skip to anyway.
Should I do the? Should I just cut the intro?
Yeah.
To the start. Yeah. Welcome to the SpilltheTeaCG podcast. My name is Benjamin Ramiati. You're joined here by myself and Joe Bernard and
said
Alex
that,
Dow. What? What did I say? You're joined.
You were going to reintroduce yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to do a tier list for Birmingham. There you go. That's the intro. Bam.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah. Next.
Speaks for itself.
So yeah, fast forward to the tier list. So do we want to go through? Right. Okay. How we did it the last time. This is a mess. How we did it the last time was that we went through our top 2 picks that we would play and then placed it on the tier list.
Did we?
That is
think
not
so.
what we did.
Is that not what we did?
That's not what we did. You've just come up with that now. You've just come up. This is new innovation right here, right now.
Okay.
We've done a tier list.
I've never seen that ever done actually in a tier list.
We've done the tier list with Jack where we all each tier list and then argued.
That was that's when you weren't there, Ralph.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. Okay, all right.
But that did require some prep time that we all did before.
Yeah.
So we can't do that this time, obviously.
We've done no preparation at all.
I don't know if it's coming across, but we've actually not done much prep for this one. So
3 minutes later, we've still not started this tier list.
Okay. So we're starting with Regidrago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. I think that's clearly S tier myself. I think.
So we're starting at the very
results,
top, are we?
Well, do we want to start at the very top?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
it's the
course.
best deck.
You've already named it now. You can't go back on yourself.
People are really bored of Regidrago, aren't they now? I think there are so many.
Who's bored of winning?
Well, there's so many comments on social media about like how the list just hasn't changed in so long, and it's just dominated the meta, and it's just this kind of scapegoat for why the format is stale and all that. I don't think it's stale at all. I think this format's great, personally.
I also think it's one of the most interactive decks in the format, actually.
Yeah,
like,
I do as
when
well.
you're the one playing it, and it also puts opponents in positions that will vary game to game based on what they've discarded and what resources are left. I think it's the opposite of a stale deck, actually.
I do as well. I mean, it's drawn me in. It's one of my top 2 picks for this regional. I think, especially going into.
Would you play Regidrago this season?
I'd love to see you play Drago.
I really want to play it. It's because I never got to play a deck like this, and I've always regretted. There's some decks I've always regretted.
Are you
not
talking
playing.
like a tier
And
S deck?
Mew 3 is definitely one of them, and Regidrago has some remnants of that deck, obviously being a toolbox.
Okay, you mean?
And I've played it in locals quite a bit. I really enjoy it. It's super strong as well. I think people actually don't credit it enough as well. I think there are a lot of people who don't see the deck as don't recognize the deck for how strong it is, and that's where you get bitten. Yeah, don't let the dog bite back. Because Regidrago, it'll get you.
I don't think anyone's disregarding it.
I think everyone thinks it's the best deck.
I think people think it's top tier, but there's some people out there who don't think it's great. That's my experience.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it's bad.
Are we gonna do percentage predictions
I
of
feel
day
like
one?
we should.
Rab, do you have that capacity?
At the top, if you're doing on Trainer Hill,
I think there's a button that you can press.
Meta share input.
Tournament filters or custom deck archetypes.
I
don't know. Show a high meta
down.
share. Yeah. I got it.
So how high do we reckon? I think around 14%.
Oh, really? I was thinking like 18. I was thinking high.
I was in the middle. Anyway. I was actually at 16%.
16?
16. Yeah.
We can split the difference. We'll go 16.
Right. We have to remember it makes up 100%.
One thing that's really interesting for Birmingham actually is that it's been like over a month since Toronto, and obviously it's a strange month because people will be taking their eye off Pokemon, possibly because of family and all this other stuff. But ultimately, having that much of a period, like a chunk of time away from a tournament, is not something we always have that sort of luxury of. When a lot of people would normally be like doing their cup grinds in between tournaments and whatnot. So in a way, it does like reset the mindset in that anyone who was playing decks previously could be on a whole new bandwagon this time around, which I think is just an interesting thing to bear in mind.
Yeah, I back that up. The only other thing that we have had, of course, and I'm sure we'll talk about in other pods, we had Osaka, of course, which is a slightly different format, but it started to bring more eyes to the deck that obviously done super, super well, and gained a lot of traction in Archaliodon. as well. So there's people trying these sort of things. The lists probably weren't very different to what we've already started to see in some of the tournaments as well, but it just meant more people are looking at it, more people are trying it out, more people are realizing actually it's one of those decks that has a favorable matchup into our Regidrago, for example. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about some of the other decks. It's finding your niche in this kind of cycle of decks at the moment in this rock paper scissors format.
I mean, I don't mind talking about Archery Leon now.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that for the next one. I agree with you, Alex. I think not a lot of people give it enough credit. I think 330 HP is quite a scary number.
300.
300. Yeah, 330. 300. It's scary. It's just for sure. Yeah, I think it's a scary number for a lot of people.
Where do you want to rate it? So for me, there's still risk to the deck because God of War and Zard are hard.
I still think it has slight consistency issues. In the first, it's redundant if I say your game is going to be defined on your first hand, but it's even more so with this deck. I know what you mean because I feel like it has Arceus vibes where it's very much like that. Yes. I feel like some decks you can kind of get away with it and you have different outs to get away from it, whereas this deck just you're sink or swim for the most part.
I think specifically Dialga also feels really sink or swim as well. Like if you miss that window to get into your V-Star, it's just like more dead cards in your deck unless you can pull a Thorn out of nowhere.
And you're playing two stage ones. Nobody likes playing two stage ones. It gets
no one. They hate it.
Well, I do.
In the grand scheme of things, two stage ones are it's okay. But is that over reliance on like the draw engine of the it's the draw engine of the deck's just not the
good.
Most not the most consistent, I was going to say, but it's heavily reliant on Radiant Greninja. Squawks could be in there, I guess, for early power, but then also it's just mid game Fez and things and mid and late game Fez, right?
Yeah, it's because it doesn't have that integrated draw as well. It has so many consistency issues for me, and I would just never touch it just because of that.
Interesting.
But
are we leaning towards like a B tier play then?
I'm happy to say B.
I feel like go on, Alex.
I was going to say I wasn't going to add too much more other than saying I think it's in a decent spot in B. It's going to kind of have to battle it out with things like the Zards and like the Guardies.
Yeah, I would probably put
the matchups it wants.
Yeah, I would put it high B, and I agree with you, Rab. In a vacuum, it's not a great deck, but its numbers just work in the format. So in the context of the metagame, it's like a solid choice. I think maybe around 5% or so play would be.
I was thinking 4 or 5.
Would be my guess.
You can definitely hide behind the stats of the card, and especially the ability. The ability is really strong. Obviously, the attack is decent. The HP is what makes it a good deck anyway. But I just feel like it just doesn't have a lot of these decks just have such great draw power or such good engines that it makes me just shy away from it, and I don't think
this is a vulnerable one.
Yeah, I don't think I can go into a tournament thinking, I got the best HP, and then that's it.
I mean, for what it's worth, I would definitely add Pokestops and probably Shoes to the Osaka list because Jamming Tower is less good in our format than it is in a Badu meta. Because jamming is really a tech for Gardevoir and Pult, and I know Gardevoir's still a deck, obviously. But obviously Pult is way less played, and it's trying to block TM Evo a lot of the time. So I think it's good for Badu meta, but not for us. So we can at least make it a little bit more consistent than what we've seen, for what it's worth.
4 or 5, Dow?
I think 4%. To be honest,
sure.
It wouldn't surprise. I don't see it going higher than 5%, but it's obviously got a lot of hype recently, and everyone I seem to speak to seems to think that it's actually as Joe said, it's in a good spot. And when you're good into at least, if we're saying from our numbers, 16% of the field, it's a good play. I mean, that's one of the things where whenever we talk tier lists, it's like, how much do we factor in like the meta or what our expected meta is and the matchups, and that's why we probably put
Yeah.
me a little bit higher than maybe some other places.
The timing of the Osaka tournament is interesting as well, in that most people have had the chance to make a decision on Archeludon, so they've at least had some reps with it, and if they enjoyed playing it, they'll have kept on it. So that's also interesting to think about. People have had enough time to figure it out.
Yeah, moving on. I think we can move on to the battle of the sluggers, the big hitting 2 prizes. I'll pick the first one, Goldengo. I, for one, think Goldengo's still in a good spot.
Third most played deck in Toronto.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
That really surprised me.
I still think it's in a good spot, though. I still think out of all of the 2 prizes, the Raging Bolts, the Roaring Moons, the Chen Paos, if you want to consider that, I still think it's the best one of the lot, personally. And I think the new A spec gives it so it makes those first turns obviously not so scary anymore. And I think. Would
you play Candy? Would you play Togekiss Candy or Dusknoir, or would you just play Palkia?
I would only play one.
Wasn't there a list that played both? I think
I think both is too much. It's too hot to handle.
What, Palkia and Togekiss?
Yeah,
both stage 2s.
I'd still play Palkia, but I would only play one of the stage 2s.
I think I remember seeing a list where
Palkia and the stage 2 is already a lot of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
I would
normally they
Palkia.
Compete, right?
I would definitely play Palkia.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm obsessed with Owen's list, to be honest. I think it's really good.
Thoughts on Goldengo?
Just good.
I would also put it above like Bolt or Moon or Miraidon, so I kind of agree with you there, Rab. I'd probably pop it in like low A tier.
Yeah.
Low A?
I wouldn't think it will mirror the same popularity as it had in Toronto. But I still think it'll probably make first graphic though.
I could see that. Yeah, I think maybe. How much was it in Toronto? Was it over 10% in Toronto? I can't remember. Let me quickly look.
Yeah.
11.
It was 7%.
Oh.
7?
I got that so wrong.
Wow, it shows just how wide the format is, right?
Yeah.
There really are like 12 decks people will consider these days.
Being third
maybe just like 6% then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as.
It also had a very bad
decks,
day 1 to day 2 conversion in Toronto.
I don't think it's as good as you guys are saying. It's like a low A. I would have put it in B tier as well.
We can pop it in B. I'm not hugely passionate about it, but I'm not going to put any of the turbo decks that high.
The reason why I put it in A is because it's the better of the hard hitting stage 2s.
But that's not what we want. We want it in the grand scheme of things. Is it an A tier deck in the overarching meta?
Actually, the best aggressive deck is Cloth Terapagos. Actually, so let's bung Goldengo in B.
I wouldn't consider. No. I wouldn't consider Cloth a big hitting two prize deck.
Why not?
What? Because
it takes 2 prizes and picks big.
So it takes 2 prizes with that thing.
It's a bit more tact. No. I'm not having this.
Tactic.
What's tactical about it? It hits 290 a turn, bro.
Cloth is a bit more. It's a bit more tactile. It's a bit more fragile than these. These sloggers. These raging bolts.
Tactile. What do you mean?
They have to. They're a bit more. I don't know.
It doesn't have to evolve.
Just because you make decisions with it doesn't mean it's not a slugger.
Oh, it does. For me, it does.
Yeah.
Listen, it takes a knockout turn 1 going second, right?
All right, fine.
Goldengo and B for me.
So
Goldengo B.
I'd say.
Is it higher than? Is it higher than?
You know what? Let's go 5%. And let's put it just above Archeludon.
Is it just above? Yeah.
Okay, moving to Call of Terapagos then. I actually really enjoy playing this deck.
Just dunking on it.
I wasn't dunking on it. I don't think it's a slogging 2 prizer. I don't see it like
slogging. Why not?
It's a slogging.
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more tactical. You can do a lot more with Cloth.
What can you do?
I feel like you're playing it wrong. You're constantly trying to close it.
What are you doing if you're not just swinging?
I mean, you are swinging, sure, but it's a bit more. There's a lot more decisions to be made than.
Decisions doesn't change the outcome though. Like you're doing 10 action. You're doing the same outcome as a bolt, right? You're just going 2/2/2 with the deck.
Yeah, you'd like to, yeah. But they're not going 2-2.
You'd love to do that.
Okay, right. I'll change the phrase to 2 prize-orientated sloggers.
Just to make it clear for everyone.
Okay, moving on to Cloth Trafficos then. I actually really enjoy playing this deck. I'm probably playing it wrong, but I really enjoy playing it.
I think it's an A tier deck. I think it's strong.
I
think at least 6%. You think it's B? What don't you like about it?
You think it's B? I'd never put it B. Its matchups are too good to put it B.
It's the highest of those big hitting decks. Yeah, I agree with that point. So I think I put him at the very top of B. I just think there's better decks in the format than Claw.
I think low A is where I place it as the king of the fast stuff.
Its matchups are too good though, right? For me to put it anywhere.
I think it's skewed because of the online tournaments and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think people it's like
Wasn't
a deck
Stuttgart data? I mean, don't forget, its Stuttgart data was freaking insane as well. Don't forget, its day 1 to 2 in Stuttgart was disgusting.
I also don't think people looked at it hard enough from the tournament before, which was only like a week or two.
Yeah.
Where obviously it had Patrick Ratey and I can't remember the other player, the person who actually came like top 20 with it. I'd done really well with it, but I didn't get enough highlight. It wasn't highlighted enough. Only when it got to Stuttgart where it was suddenly like properly blew up, right? I think.
Well, you pay attention when a world champ top 8s with it. You pay more attention.
And you pay attention when everyone's highlighting the 55% or whatever that converted from day 1 to day 2.
Yeah.
But then once that happens, it's again small tweaks, which means that deck kind of not crumbles, but it just.
I mean, what makes it that much worse? Like you don't farm Snorlax, which was one of its boasts. But what else changes? I don't think much else changes. Like I suppose Drago was playing Pokestop and sort of went away from jamming plus Sinnoh, so they have that defensive course back now. But I still back myself into that matchup. I don't know. I think a lot of lists started to drop things like the Electrode, so your Zard matchup then suddenly became a bit. I mean, that's just people being bad, though. You should play Electrode.
Guardy became suddenly became.
Guardy's tough. I do think the deck should definitely play Vacuum for sure.
Yeah, and just with Guardy having things like
Klefki, I guess, is a problem for you,
and starting to put in more WoW and things like that. It's kind of
just a bit annoying. So you think
I still wouldn't expect more WoW that much. Plus, the deck still plays like 3 switch card. Like it could play 3 card.
I mean, I just feel like it's one of those where it's like, it's obviously inherently powerful, but it's a bit more of a glass cannon than people think it is.
So you think?
I feel like we're at the juncture where people have reacted to Terrapagos Clorf. Now it's out of the spotlight again, and the Clorfs can react to the techs as well. So I think you can come back with a list that has the Vacuum and has enough cards to still beat.
You think the deck's been figured out?
Basically, I think the deck's really strong. I would definitely put it low A.
Yeah, fair.
It's definitely in my top 5. I think
low A, high B. Yeah, I mean it probably ends up 5th in mine as well.
I think 5% probably rep.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
5 low A for Clark.
Okay, let's go with a fan favorite, Lugia. Again, I still follow the same sentiment. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole, but a lot of people will still take this deck to rotation, I suppose. Where do we place Lugia going into this tournament?
I think it's well positioned. I think that's not changed. So if you want to take it, you can. I think there won't be much of the Dragathorns. I don't think there'll be much Miraidon either. I don't think there'll be much Lost Zone Pika. These were all the like boogeyman decks at the start of Surging Sparks that made Lugia dip.
I think there were flashes.
So now I think you're.
Yeah,
exactly. There was more fear factor about those decks than actually how popular they'll be. But I still think there's enough of those fears that people won't bring Lugia in high numbers. Like I still think it'll be like maybe a 5-6% play. But I think it's probably an A tier play.
I think it's A. So that would have been one of my A decks. I think it moves up to like 7, maybe 8%. I think it takes that, if we're talking like what Toronto had with Golden Go. I think Lugia takes that spot.
Yeah, I can see that.
inherently powerful, good position. You know, Drago's dropping or has dropped Sinnohs. Obviously, Cal Connors did have the Sinnoh, so it's a little bit different. But the majority started to drop cards that would counter things like the Lugias. But yeah, I think it's everything that you just said, Joe. It's find itself in a pretty good position into a lot of the matchups, into a lot of the what we would call the meta right now.
Yeah, I think any previous believers of Lugia have license to go back to it this weekend.
Yeah, I think it matches that sentiment as well of players not having time to test or not having the opportunity to play any Pokemon over the season and just slamming some Lugia in some sleeves for the weekend.
Good old fashioned, yeah.
Letting it rip. Okay, moving on then. Let's get some of these D lists out of the way. Let's go with Chen-Pao Baxcalibur.
Well, that was still on the list, was it?
Why are we talking about this deck?
Yeah,
it's trash.
D 1 or 2%.
0.
Yeah,
0.
That doesn't mean 0 people will bring it.
That's 0%.
It's another one of those decks where you have to ask yourself while sleeving it, why am I not playing any other deck in the format that does the same thing better than me? Next. Okay, Palkia Noctowl.
I've tried so hard.
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
If I was given, I don't know. I don't think it's in a good spot right now. Obviously, the general deck and Palkia is just a good card into the format in general, into the sort of the numbers it hits. But it has to weave in so many different combos and counters to such a weird format now that it's just not as good as it was like at the start of this season. So like low B, I think it still has a lot going for it because of things
I've actually
like
put it
Rotom
C.
and Noctowl.
I mean, I've put it in C, but it'd probably be high C, right?
Yeah, I don't hate low B, high C, either way, and I think it'll be like 1% play. It did top 4 in Stuttgart, don't forget. It did top 4. But then when we saw it on stream, it drew abysmally. And that's partly to what Alex has said, is that it had to wear itself quite thin now with so many matchups around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair. Okay then. Terrapagos. Straight Terrapagos with a Dusknoir, with a Noctowl, with your mates, with your buddies. I don't see this deck making a big, strong comeback compared to its first couple of results when it first came out. So I don't see it being mega popular. I don't see what the pull is to play Terrapagos over, say, Clove, personally.
I wouldn't really compare those two decks, to be honest. I would compare it to Charizard.
I feel compare it to Zard?
Yeah, because I think they both... I think Terrapagos Dusknoir is a better deck at winning into attacks than Charizard is. And you have a better Drago matchup. So that would be my pull to it. If you want to have a checkmate style deck utilizing Briar and that sort of stuff, I do still think Terrapagos Noctowl's better than Zard at that. But I've been a massive hater of Zard for a while, so that's probably not news to anyone.
So you'd play this over Zard?
Yeah, but I'm very biasedly against Zard.
Okay.
And I'm very biased in favour of Fan Rotom Noctowl. Like, that's an engine that I love since it came out. So I'm probably, like, it sounds like a hot take, but that's just my own biases rather than... Like, I obviously recognise that Charizard has done way better in this format and will be a more popular deck. But, yeah, I feel like this is going to be an underplayed deck. I don't think it's, like, an amazing play, though, at the same time. So
sticking in C?
The Clorf is a worry. But yeah, C tier is fine, I think. Maybe B. I think probably B, to be honest. It's 2%? Really underrepresented. This was such a better deck before Sparks came out, and there was just the fear of you not having an answer to Pikachu, which is the weird thing about it.
That's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's whether it was a flash in the pan, the kind of the
I don't think so. I think there was like logical fears. Like now there's the fear of Terrapagos, I suppose, of Clorf to an extent, and there's the fear of initially when Sparks first came out, the fear was that you had nothing into Lost Peak. Lost Peak, or if that was becoming a deck, and it's just not really picked up again in popularity, I suppose. It did just randomly get a second place in the Korean league, though. I don't know if that it's probably too recent to make an impact on anyone, but I do think this is should be a Decanal format that's just not right now.
Yeah, I still really like it. I think it perked my ears up when I saw it done well again in that Korean tournament. But I hadn't played it before, properly.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to spend too much time looking into it, but everything seems to make sense. I mean, with the Bouffalons, I do like the 1/1 Regidrago. We've seen it before in some tournaments over here in our shores as well.
Yeah.
It just has a lot of good stuff going for it, but it just won't be as picked up as what it has been in previous times.
Fair enough.
And for the record, it's still a little unfavoured into Drago as well, which is still a concern. I would say less than Charizard, but still not the best.
Yeah. Going to a big hitter then. Raging Bolt Ogapon. I don't think any of us are a huge fan of it. I mean, I enjoy playing it. I think it's very... I mean, I asked Joe a couple of days ago if I did no testing at all for this event, what would you play? And I think Bolt was the answer.
I said Bolt, Moon, or Dawn, so...
Oh, yeah, Bolt, Moon, or Dawn, fine. But Bolt was the first one out of that lot, so... I share that sentiment.
I rapid-fired 3 words.
I think... I don't think Bolt is in a terrible place. I just think it's whether you... I don't know. Is it in a better place than Moon and Dawn?
No, I think it's trash.
I don't think it's... I personally don't think it's trash. I think its matchups aren't as bad as...
No, me neither. I'd still put it B.
Say it.
The online data makes it look atrocious, and it's hilarious because, you can't be playing that deck very wrong. So this is probably...
a good representation.
Good representation.
It reminds me of that Mick McCarthy meme. It can't get worse, can it? It can.
It can. It can get worse. That matchup data can get worse.
It can.
It's basically propped up by being good into the 2V stars, right? It's good into Drago and it's fine into Lugia. That's the boast of it, but it's pretty bad otherwise.
I don't like
the recent top 4 list does farm Guardy as well, which is reasonable. It has Briar and Vacuum, which makes it good into Guardy, which is normally its weaker, a weak matchup for it.
Yeah.
So that's relevant.
I get uneasy thinking that I have to hit a heads off one of my catcher going into most matchups. But
it's not only that. I mean, if people are playing well around you, it doesn't even matter that catcher's in your deck, to be honest.
I've done what I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
I'm super cold on the deck.
Put it low B. I still think it's going to be pop. I still think it's going to be
popular. Does not mean good.
Popularity, is completely different.
I still think around 6%. Personally.
Yeah, fine. I think 6 is reasonable as well.
I mean, bottom of B for me is
trash.
Sure. Okay then. Going on to another fan favorite, Gardevoir.
Stick it in A for me.
I put it in A. I've put it below Clorf, but I probably put it between Clorf and Lugia.
I put it above Clorf.
Above Clorf.
And Lugia.
Yeah. You put it above both. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
I would.
Why'd you just Come on, Rab. Argue. Come on, put it below Clorf.
Why
would you put it below Clorf?
No. I'm just saying where I've put it, and then you tell me where to put it, and I'll put it there.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that's where you would put it.
Now come up with the reason as to why.
Good matchup spread. Maybe still has a slight weird, very slightly unfavorable to Drago, but generally it's that kind of 50-50. Has multiple different builds, so it'll be quite interesting to see which direction players will take it in. But it's just got a nice matchup spread. It's just really, really consistent at what it does, especially with the way it's built with the Klefkis, the Fluttermanes. Some lists, I think I mentioned, are starting to think about the other win con of using things like Mawile as well now, especially what we saw from towards the end of 2024, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's taken down and done super well in recent tournaments. Plus, it's good into the Bidoof format. I think people are playing that. with Guardi as well, and that's why people are like starting to put more time into this early, going into future formats as well. So I think there's just a lot going for it at the moment. But then that's just how
I agree. I think the matchup spread is too strong to ignore. I think it farms a lot of these big hitting 2 prizes. I think that you're right as well. It has a lot of options in terms of lists and how you want to play in terms of your play style. And I think the consistency that we know it already has with Curlier is too strong to ignore. So I think Gardevoir's probably it should be one of your top picks if you're looking to do well this tournament. I think it'll.
I do think that's the case, but I also think there'll be a lot of vacuum this weekend because that's always the thing that happens whenever Guardi's in a good place. People just make the decision to play vacuum because it covers so many matchups and is very good into this deck.
Just a good
Guardi's
card.
always been in a Guardi's always been in a decent place though. It doesn't. I don't feel like it means.
No, I don't think that's true. But
do you not?
Come on.
I think it's in a good spot now, but it's definitely been cyclical.
Yeah, I've done.
I also really like Secret Box, by the way. Now, I think Secret Box Candy is the right way to play it this weekend because I think you're going to retreat into Klefki in a lot of matchups, and that means you want to have Candy in your list rather than just rely purely on Evo, because then you're really hoping that Klefki hard bricks them rather than just like gives you wiggle room. So I think Candy Box is how I would like to play it this weekend.
Klefki MVP of this weekend potentially.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly going to be great in Gardevoir. I don't know how many other decks tech it per se. Does anything else tech it other than Lax?
I've bought 4 just in case I want to play Lax. I'm not playing 4. I just always buy 4 whenever I need a card.
Just in case.
Yeah, it's a toxic trait of mine. I put Guardi probably at 6. Between 6
6%.
and 8. Between 8 and 6.
Yeah, I think it'll be like high. I mean, and that's high in this kind of format where
6 or 7% is high.
The only reason I wouldn't go higher is because I still think people are scared of playing it because of how technical it can be, especially in your first couple of turns. I think people are very afraid of picking it up and trying it out because they see that there's loads of pieces and there's loads of things going on and a lot that you have to kind of remember, especially in setting up and think about your later turns. Given
more time, and if I had the chance to go take it to a tournament like a cup or something, I would have put more time into Guardi to play it.
I think it's a good play, but I think it'll be a low play account. That's why I think I'd put it at 6.
That's
6,
not low.
yeah,
it's high.
That's a good representation, I would say.
Oh well, for a top tier deck, it's okay.
It's really just the diversity of the format. The fact that we're talking about over 10 decks. There's been many tournaments where really there's been like 5 decks, and the rest we just kind of mention as footnotes. But this is genuinely a format that is very diverse.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with a different play style. Let's go with Snorlax Stall.
Oh yes.
Snorlax Stall.
Benjamin, we'll let you take
go on, Rab.
This is your.
I still think it's in a good position. I think that the only new threat it had in the format coming into it was Cloth. I don't think anything else really posed too much of a massive threat. I think Klefki is a great shout for this tournament. I think the problem I had as a Snorlax player going into this tournament is what list do I play, because there's so many different ones out there at the moment. Whether you want
enriching
to play
energy.
I really wouldn't. I really don't like the idea of being forced to play boxed order. I really don't.
Why
like
not?
That.
It's like Steven's Resolve. It was your favourite back in the day.
It's not. It's 2, not 1. And it's items only.
Steven's Resolve was 3, right?
Yeah,
massively different. Yeah, that's what I said. It's 2 only. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I just don't like. I just like the draw power of Rotom, which then brings up the problems with playing Klefki, and then you get into this. Oh, but well, what if
you can't play Klefki in a Rotom build?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't play both, and then you're for, and then A specs as well. I mean, I've seen so many different A specs in lists, especially in Toronto. I saw headphones. I saw secret box. I saw enriching energy. I saw cape. I feel like playing Snorlax going into this tournament, you have to be really confident of your list and well tested, and you have to accept that you cannot have everything in your deck for every particular matchup. I mean, that's for everything, right, to an extent, but Snorlax especially, because you have such hard counters to the meta. Yeah, I would put it as B tier. Will I put it as B tier? I might actually put it in low A, because you can still just hide behind the block ability and beat most of these matchups just behind that alone.
Sure can.
Yeah, I put it low A. I put it low A, and because we've got Chen Powers 0.5% represented, I'd probably put it as like a 5.5, 4.5 represented.
That's high.
Yeah, that's
Is
high
it?
for a Snorlax. Yeah.
That's very
Okay,
freaking high.
okay. What would page 2 be?
What would HTV? I'm in Toronto. Didn't
Maybe like 3.5.
Toronto doesn't show it. Yeah, I think 3 or 4% is.
I think 4 is high.
Probably 3%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Does
3%.
anybody disagree with me?
I'd
If you
probably
disagree
put it
with-
top of B tier. That would be the only thing I'd argue.
It'd be in B. B and B? It'd be in B tier somewhere.
It'd be a B.
It's BB.
It'd be B.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deck that can't be slept on, right? When you're going into a tournament, it's just one of those annoying things. But it's only 3%, so can you sack off 3% when you're only facing 8-9 rounds?
People don't like
It
playing
is hard.
do they?
It is hard to win a tournament with a deck, but it's very good at going far in the tournament. I would say.
Yeah. It's a day 2 deck, but you're not going to go further than that. Well,
I think
unless,
you can go.
unless you know what I mean.
I think it's probably the
we
best
don't know
deck to get money. Probably, I would say.
What? Don't tell me
Get
this now.
Cash money.
This is your cash money right here.
Better sleep up, relax.
Paraphernalia nappies.
One of you. You're taking food out of my daughter's mouth, literally.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Right.
I can't believe you actually said that.
I can't believe it.
Right. Next deck. You haven't got it in front of you, have you? So I got to pick up another one.
You're having to.
Yeah, we're doing it off the cuff,
right.
mate.
Okay. Let's do Ancient Box. Go on. Thoughts?
I don't love it.
Don't love it.
Me neither.
I don't necessarily
Dodgy
hate
engine.
it either. Yeah, the engine's the only thing. Otherwise, I feel like it's got a okay thing going for it. It just has no draw power.
Yeah, I also think like Charizard will probably be too popular, which is a worry. Drago is still not easy. Like I don't think you farm much, to be honest. And the one thing that I always think about going into tournaments these days is that you're forced to be in a game 1 situation that goes half an hour, and it can come down to how you draw off an Iono. So you're stuck in that game no matter what, and then if you lose that game, you lose the set, right? So you just don't have any control over time. Because when you know that your opening hand is like tragic and game 1's going badly for you, you know the best outcome for you then is a tie, and that sucks.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing for like Guardi as well, but like that's just another reason on top of this deck. Like its matchup spread's not good, and you're also against the clock.
I think there's like 4 decks that I'd be confident playing against with Ancient Box. Looking at
As
all
many
these
as
decks.
4.
As many as 4. Go on, what are those 4?
Oh, I don't have to explain myself.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I'll die on this hill. Alex, where would you place Ancient Box?
Top of D, low C.
Top of D, low C.
I'm loving that top of D shout.
Another 0.5?
Yeah, go for it.
Can we do 0.5s? Is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
You can put 0.
Oh,
We
you
can go
can
to
do
0.
0.5s.
So now that we do points, we can do Toad Scroll. We can add that. That's what it makes. And Reggie's. Okay, next one. Let's go with with something that actually found some success in Osaka, which was Saralage. I feel like Saralage had a good outing in Osaka. If
It did. It's a different format, though.
It is a different format, but it might raise that stock. It might Ceruledge to the moon.
I very much think the reason why it's doing better is because of the context of Badu.
Yeah, sure. I
think people see that quite clearly.
I think it's low C. I don't think it. I think there's a lot of decks that I think are better than it for the sloggers.
This is literally draw 0 card version of Golden Go, right?
Yeah, that's the only warrior.
That's my problem.
How about I draw 10 less cards than Golden Go?
And win.
Listen, we'll talk Ceruledge next set. Now let's put it in D and move on. Because there's a clear
putting in D!
There's a clear better deck. Like, I would put this in F because you're being a fool for not playing Golden Go when you could play the same deck but better.
Would you play...
Like, you're literally playing the same deck but worse than Golden Go.
You don't want the whole sequencing to get the superior energy retrievals and then blow.
What do you mean the sequencing? Oh my god.
Right, Joe, you lose...
The sequencing of a Squawkabilly.
Right, Joe, you lose a bet and you have to play Ancient Box, Chen Power, Ceruledge. Where are you placing Ceruledge in that 3?
Oh.
Right now, I would play Ancient Box over Ceruledge.
Okay, but
and obviously Chien-Pao bottom.
Okay, fine.
Chien-Pao bottom.
I think it'll get more players than 0.5 though. I think it'll get like 2%.
What, Ceruledge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1% Ceruledge, let's go.
Yeah, 1%.
Let's give it the
1%. I guarantee it'll be like 2%.
1% is like 1% is like 20 people, right?
I think it'll get 2% only just because it's a new card.
It's not.
No, we've already.
I mean, it's been new the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he's so pleased with himself.
I just have that idea. Okay.
Keep it going.
Next one, Iron Thorns. The nightmare of the
quad.
Format. Yes, quad.
Quad.
The nightmare of the format.
I actually think it's in a solid place.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I don't mind towards top end of B.
Top end of B or low end of A?
I don't think it's quite that high. I think you're still just dodgy enough into Drago that... Like, the Drago is pretty... Like, obviously you're physically flipping coins, but the matchup is quite swingy. Based on how quickly they can get towards a goo or get towards an alone egg or something like that. Both of those things just spell doom for you. But I can see you really griefing the Charizards. I wouldn't expect many Colognes in Zards. I don't know, maybe that's just me taking a temperature. But so I think you can farm Zard. Obviously, any Lugia Resurgence is good for you. I think Gardevoir's only awkward if they have Klefki and Flutter. If they only play the key, it's pretty good for Thorns. So I actually think it's a solid, like, I don't know what to play choice.
I think it's a secret pick for this weekend. I don't think people will be. I don't think people will be really expecting it.
You're calling the world champion deck secret.
It was. It's a secret pick for Worlds.
Good.
Wasn't it, really?
Well, it wasn't that secret. Even I played it.
It just props up. You know,
we all talked about it on a podcast. It can't be that secret.
Yeah, it's definitely not a secret.
I like it.
You heard it first. You heard it here first.
It's one of my 2 picks right now.
Is it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do I have to sleeve up my thoughts?
He played it at Worlds, so he's...
I played at Worlds.
Yeah.
He's willing. Ready to be hurt again.
Nobody will want to test
it before.
I'll come to Birmingham with Snorlax and Iron Thorns, and I'll say, "Who wants to test?"
At the last weekend, I had friends over just for a little boot camp session, and on the Saturday I had to test against Dragathorns. Then on the Sunday I had to test against Quad Thorns. So, this is great. I'm just.
Well, at least you can put the kettle on while you're playing it.
Yeah,
I'm not inviting him round again.
Look at my top deck for me. Yeah, Scoop, obviously.
Did you want a pizza? Because I can order it. What's your order? So we're ordered. Anyway, yeah, pass. Sorry.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've put it below Snorlax. Do we think it's below or above Snorlax? Or in the same realm?
Yeah.
I like the realm. But
yeah,
it's like middle of B both for me. But
2%? Something like that?
I'll call it
2%? I think 2.
2. Look at the dominance we've had from the UK. You know, with decks like this. You know. There was a couple of top 8s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this
UK loves it.
Comes up.
UK loves Thorns. You do it first.
Fact.
Right. Let's go
Fact.
with Turbo Roaring Moon. Back to the sloggers.
Well, maybe you start with this one, Ram.
Yeah, this is.
Well,
this
I've
is
always
your
been a
other
fan.
secret deck.
I've always been a fan of Turbo.
Never played it, but always been a fan.
Me and I have. I played it for I played it for Dortmund.
It was a German. Yeah, Dortmund. Yeah.
Dortmund.
Did he play it with Dortmund?
He
I
did.
played it at Dortmund.
He and Luke played it for Dortmund. Yeah.
No way.
I didn't play the judge build though. I just played straight kind of turbo.
Bundle in.
You're lying.
Four
did.
four catches. It's great.
Did you lose winning into that tournament, or did you day two? You day two'd, right?
No.
Day two'd and
I lost. I lost 2 winning ins. And then
I remember you being like 3-0 and,
I was
and
3-0.
having finished all your games in 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
silly.
I was 3-0. Then I played Julius playing playing Tina, and we both left the table really laughing. I was laughing in misery. He was laughing because he couldn't believe his luck.
Laughing in misery.
Because I needed a heads in the one game for game, and I flipped 4 tails. I managed to find 3 in my opening hand. Just flip tailors. Flipped the tailors.
Very
which
good.
isn't great. Anyway, on to Roaring Moon. I think it's okay. I've always been a big fan, as you all know, but I still put it in the same realm as Raging Bolt, though.
Roaring Bolt.
Raging.
I know. I would still put a B tier, right? I mean,
Where did we put Dengo? B tier.
Then goes top of B.
no, we got Lax, Thorns, then Dengue.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's just my hand.
Yeah, I would put wherever Roaring Moon is. I think it has to be behind Dengo, but I don't hate it at bottom end of B. I do like the ancient booster capsule plan with the secret box that we saw from Bogota.
I also
Remind me,
like
do we have any
ancient.
decks in C at the moment?
We must have some C.
Palkia
surely.
Noctowl.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it? We've just got everything chilling in B.
Yeah.
To be
B8.
fair, the bunching of limitless points is crazy.
Remember, I want to see it
At
spread out.
At bottom B,
But there's
we
not
have
that
Raging
much to whatever.
Bolt. There will definitely be decks in C in a minute, I think.
Just you wait for the C tier decks coming up, guys.
Roaring Moon,
Yeah,
5%?
just above Bolt.
Just above Bolt.
And, yeah, and like.
So we have
3%.
Dengo. We have Dengo, Bridge, Terrapagos, Turbo, Roaring Moon.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I would be like that.
I think it's going to be about 5%.
5.
People love these decks. You know.
I'll give it
this.
4. I'll give it as much as 4%.
4.
I'll go 3,
fine.
so we'll average at 4.
Right. Remember, we have another 36% to divvy out.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to.
We're never filling it. We're never filling it.
They should hit 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
And we've not even touched on like a big one already. Yeah.
We haven't. No.
Rab's keeping the viewers around. I can see what he's up to.
Think of those views.
Don't know why you're doing that. We don't make anything.
Does anybody want a sponsor? Right. Look at this.
Charizard brought to you by
Gillette. Day of the Jackal live on Sky.
Is that any good actually?
Is that it's good? Yes, all right.
Have you watched it? Okay.
With Red
This isn't
Anime.
an ad, by the way.
Could be.
Right, Lost Zone box.
Oh, we've gone there first, have we?
So
Yeah,
I wanted to give you a C. I wanted to give you a C tier.
See now, I don't think it's C.
Go on.
Oh, I'm interested.
I don't think it has a terrible matchup spread other than Drago.
Crazy.
So I can't, and for that reason, I cannot put it. I don't think I would put it in C.
Would you
If Drago was like 25%, then sure. But 16, it was like 13, 14 in Toronto.
Has that not always been the case?
Bad
Though?
as it seems. What?
Is that not always been the case of it having good matchups everywhere?
We've only how many tournaments have we had in and done a tier list where there's been Pikachu in Lost Box, I guess. Just the one, right? If we've done a tier list.
One or two. I think. Yeah, one.
Pika's an annoying card for a lot of decks to deal with. I don't think it's as easy as people put out for. I think it's still got a crazy engine. I think there's still a decent amount going for it. It just has that Drago thing where that has to be a bob and weave around that.
Are you not afraid of Klefki? I mean, I guess there's not too much Klefki running about, sure, but
yeah, it's like I think other decks are just as scared as Klefki, and there'll be a point where you get around it, right?
So you'd put this in B?
Low B.
So
I quite like
another B tier deck.
I mean,
I thought you wanted it spread out, Alex. Dow.
Stick Bolt in
now
C.
Look
Let's
at
go.
you.
I mean, I put it high C, personally.
I see.
I don't think the engine,
so above Palkia Noctowl.
I don't think the engine is fast enough. I don't think the engine is fast enough.
Don't think the engine is fast enough. Have you seen the gas
feel like
it has?
There's too
It's
many
in the pace of it.
There's too many threats for multi prizes and Klefki running about and just bad matchups in general.
What's his bad matchup? Other than Drago.
Snorlax.
Snorlax. Gardevoir can be iffy because of Clef. Lugia will play hands.
I think
Guardy's a mid.
Guardy's even at worst, I think. Yeah.
Thorns ain't good.
Why?
Why is Thorns?
I think Thorns is really good.
I don't think Thorns is great.
What's Thorns stopping?
Well, it's stopping the
Thorns.
Pikachu.
What?
Huh?
what do you need Pikachu for? Thorns only hits 140, bro.
What is it? It's going to continue tickling my Pikachu, is it? Brilliant.
No, yeah.
I'll blow it up for 300.
Anyway, Topaz Bolt.
Dengo has Palkia.
You're just saying words now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You're just saying words.
Let's move on.
For what it's worth, I would also put this in bottom of B, but I did just want to grief Alex because
outrageous.
He wanted to spread it out.
I don't think it'll be that high reps. I think probably 3, 2.
Not maybe 2. Good, yeah, 2%.
2.
Sleeper.
But I also agree with you, Alex, that it's closer into Drago than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't put people off playing Charizard. So, like, why should it put people off playing Lost Box? It shouldn't. Would you play Iron Thorns as a one-of in Lost Box going into this weekend, just as a random tidbit?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's just inherently just a good card, and I think it'll be similar to the kind of build that we saw. Was it NAIC? Was that the one that they
that had the one Thorns? Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously,
I was thinking about that as well today a little bit. Yeah.
One Thorns has always been in the deck box for Lost Box, right? For a while.
It's I mean, the Pikachu eats up a lot of space, just in terms of like your weird energy count. But I could see that being an argument to fit the Thorns back in as a one-off.
Dragapult, straight on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Has
it done much in this? Has it done much in this meta? I don't think it has, right?
Yeah,
I think it's a deck that's seen a bit of more popularity. I think it's a difficult matchup for Regidrago.
I think it's difficult for Regidrago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hang on.
I'm confused.
Because you play the 1/1 Toad School, right?
Oh, do you? in straight Dragapult.
Straight
yeah,
Dragapult.
I've seen it being played. Yeah.
Right.
So it's Dragapult Thorns. Just take out the Thorns. Am I living on a different planet? Should we just delete this deck?
You just built a new deck.
Oh,
as far as I'm aware, Dragapult Thorns is a deck that often plays Toedscruel as a 1/1 count. And then Dragapult otherwise is probably playing Dusknoir or Pidgeot.
I've put this on the list just because I've seen a lot of people playing it on Limitless. And then I played it at locals as well.
Wait, a Thornsless Pult that plays Toedscruel is doing well online?
You're playing a 4/4 free line of Dragapult just so that you can recon Directive rather than get into your Dragapult's attack with the Terra Crystal, whatever it is called.
Yeah.
Early. And you're just
Am I living on a different planet? Does
you're
this
giving
tech not exist?
giving up like 2 prizes before you've done anything.
I'm just baffled by the Toad Scroll thing because I've only seen it in a Thorns build. I haven't seen it in a non-Thorns build.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I've learned something new
Okay, so
that's the expert for you.
Straight pulp.
That's our
Where are we
SME,
putting
baby.
it? Right, this was
So it's great into Drago because it's
awfully,
playing a Toad Scroll.
awfully confusing. Am I throwing you off? Have I wobbled
To
you?
bring it back on track to probably relevant conversation and talk about Draga Dust Noir if you want to. It did get a 9th place at Stuttgart, which kind of goes unmentioned. And had a couple of like decent placements. It also won in seniors in Stuttgart, which is
I think
juniors, I should say.
I don't think it's a terrible play. Straight.
Where they dropping counters like
Doesn't feel like a great play, but
yeah, like I said, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Like that's an upper C deck for me.
I mean, there's always the question of why would you just not play Regidrago if you want to play Dragapult, right? I mean,
yes and no.
it's a great question.
we've
I also
always
think
said
that yeah. This is also like checkmatey. I think this is sort of swimming in the same realm as Terrapagos. Dust Noir.
Okay.
But stage 2.
So high C.
Yeah, let's give it C.
I think it'll deal some damage, but I don't expect it to.
Do you think it'll be more or less popular than Dragathorns that sort of had its day out in the sun?
I think it'll be the same.
Like both 1% or something.
I think
it'll
it'll
both 1.5.
I think it'll be the same, but I think people will be drawn to Dragapult Iron Thorns just because it's different.
And in your graphic, it'll be collective 3%.
Will it?
Yeah.
Right,
joy.
so Dragapult 1%. I guess we can move on to Dragapult Iron Thorns. Are we giving that 1% as well?
Yeah. Also known for playing a 1/1 Toad Squirrel wrap.
C tier?
Sure.
Yeah, I think
I think this has tested terribly for me last weekend.
I don't like it at all.
I also think people are sort of onto it in that if you force it first in a game in a best of 3 scenario, you can also grief their engine pretty hard.
If there's a deck that's been found out, it's definitely that, right?
I mean,
I don't like it. I feel like if I want to play Disruptive, I'll just play
probably
Snorlax
not
or
what
just
I'd
straight
say,
Iron Thorns.
I wouldn't say found out. It's just it has its way of playing. I don't think it really changes. So
It reminds me of a deck from like 2006 or something where you just play and just hope that your opening basic griefs them for some reason. And if you just don't lead that guy, the deck feels terrible. Or like can't, even if you pay retreat into a Thorns, you lost that attachment, so you can't just crisp in next turn and get an attack in, and then the deck feels abysmal. So it's so incredibly tied to leading Thorns, and it's not that high of a percentage. So
Next on the list is Miraidon.
Big Donny,
Big Don.
my boy.
Joe's the only one who's played this sort of tournament.
Look what they've done to my boy.
Oh, hang on.
It's
Where's my Tierlist gone? Oh no, no, I have to do my Tierlist again.
Is he deleted it?
Oh no. Right, Regidrago S tier. Archludon B tier. Right, no. I'll remember.
I've
Right.
got a few of them.
Let us keep talking about Miraidon while you do that in silence.
You go.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping you're
okay,
still
okay.
screen
In
sharing for
silence.
this, so that they're watching.
I mean, I don't love Miraidon in
mean,
terms of
but-
meta
but
placement,
this
but
one-
it is very consistent.
I like it more than I hate it. Charizard's suddenly become a thing again, which is obviously still... It suddenly popped back up as a fairly high percentage played deck. But again, Lugia, in theory, should also see itself slightly rise back up among the NPCs, as it were.
Mm-hmm. I'm a bit worried about Archludon, though. That's also a bad uptick
that's
for
tough.
Don.
I mean, because rather than just blowing up one Charizard, you're having to blow up potentially 2 Archaludons, aren't you? Which is not ideal.
Not
You
ideal.
You can hand.
You can't
hand one little
if
one.
if you play Pogo
Zapdos.
Zapdos, you can, yeah. But also you have to not spend double turbo, so it's like a hard.
Yeah, good point. So it's like a mid. It's like a mid-game hands. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Terrible.
It's a really really resource-intensive matchup for you. The only reprieve is that they really, really need to fez, and that gives you at least a gust turn. But yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's doable. It can be done.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not a matchup you enjoy.
But they one hit everything, right? Well, do they one hit their hands? I don't think they do, right?
They don't one hit hands unless they play a tool or like Starmie or something.
Which they've started cutting as well, right?
Yeah, I would not expect Starmie.
All right, yeah, it's one of those. Is that the lowest of our 2 prize hitters? Two...
don't. I mean, I would still put it above Bolt, but I'm again super giga bias. So
can we start pushing Bolt to C yet, or is that not allowed?
I'd love to push Bolt to Z. To C. That's what I said initially, right? To Z tier.
There's something going on.
How much more do we have to fill? This feels like I'm working again.
There's something going on with this tier list creator. But I guess...
You're joking.
Yeah. But I guess we can go on to Pidgeot Zard, where we
Pidgeot Zard,
as it's known.
Sorry, Zard Pidgeot. I'm flustered because this tier list is broken. I can fix. I can fix it. We had 2 decks left. We had Pidgeot Control and Pidgeot Control. That's right. Yeah. So we have to visualize the list now.
This is. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a podcast.
So we had Pidgeot Zard. Okay, so
have you actually not fixed it? This is actually a joke.
No, because it kept refreshing. It's fine.
What do you mean it kept reflecting?
It's fine.
I'll fix it. It's fine.
Good.
I'll fix it.
It's fine.
I've just had a look at the time. Right, get on with it.
So Pidgeot Zard, where would you have put it?
God, Joe. But let's hear the hate.
I mean, I think it's really. I do think it's really overplayed.
After giving it the Spilly of the Year award.
After spilling my guts out over it, it did win a tournament in this format. I never thought that would happen because there's so much Drago that float towards the top of the tables, and that's still a concern. You're bad into control. I also don't like your Claw of Terrapagos matchup. Lugia's pretty tough as well because you never have space to tech against it now, which I feel like to have a close matchup you always had to. So yeah, I hate its positioning. I think it's pretty
say some of the good things
positioned.
About it, Joe. Come on.
It's got a good engine. It's got a really good engine. That's it.
Its data isn't even that bad, is it?
Its data's not that bad.
It's really not that bad.
Listen, it can win in 2 attacks. That's pretty broken. So
how often?
I'll give it that. Yeah. that's the right question. You're asking the right question there, boy. Yeah, I think this deck is super overplayed, but people just think Charizard's broken. So
Charizard is broken. Great card. Great bit of cardboard.
Are we putting it in A tier? I've managed to fix the tier list.
That's good to know.
I'm trying to imagine it right now. I reckon he's somehow got like.
I would once again give it B tier. Its stats put it way up in A though. In terms of its performance in this format, it would put itself as the second best.
It's got to be above Guardian though, right? Surely.
Huh?
I'd put it in B, but.
What we're saying, putting it in B, not even A.
That's what I would do.
I would put it low A.
Cool.
If you're putting Clorf in A, it goes beside Clorf even though it loses to it.
Okay, fine. I mean, Charizard can still beat that deck, but yeah.
And then lastly is Pidgeot Control, which I would put.
B.
Wait, what percentage are we thinking of Charizard for play?
Yeah.
That's something that I'll have to fix.
9.7.
Oh,
I put it 10. I put it 10%. Yeah.
I would go a bit lower than both of you. I would go like 8%.
It still has a lot of devotees, right?
So we're averaging
devotees. 9, yeah? And can one of those devotees tell me down below why they're devoted to it? I still don't understand. Yeah.
It's what they
and then lastly, Pidgeot Control.
Now. I really like Pidgeot Control.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't have the time to be
I think it's very fragile though.
like breaking my head every time I'm like sitting across a player and hoping to see what comes out, what falls out of their deck.
The format's too, although it could be played to your advantage, I think the format is too spread for me to have a consistent game plan. Although Pidgeot thrives on not having consistent game plans, having all these different utility cards and different Pokemon that I can use, I still think the format's too widespread. It's the same thing with the Snorlax lists in that you still have to deal with so many different threats in the format and ways of getting around things. And people
beat the stuff that you want to beat.
People just afraid of playing it as well for that reason.
I'm afraid of playing it. If I again, in a similar vein to Guardi, if I had the chance to put time into it, I'd like to play it.
I'd put a high C, personally.
Sure, high C is fine. I echo your thoughts. I'm afraid to play it, and you're normally having to shove in random stage ones. Like I'm seeing Noivern, I'm seeing Toadscruels, I'm seeing all like
you just have to.
all this random
just
stuff.
Too much. It's way too much.
There's a lot you're cramming.
I don't think I'd play all of that crap. Sure.
I'm saying these are the highest placing lists doing that sort of stuff, and that makes me a bit queasy.
Right. Okay. Well, that's the tier list.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it actually? Can they see a tier list right now?
I have done the tier list.
So essentially, we've put like 4 decks of. So we've got an S tier deck. What, 3 A tier decks? Is that what we got?
4.
We got 4.
Charizard, Guardi, Lugia,
Charizard. Okay, I like our top 5 a lot, and then we've basically said everything else is reasonable and put it in B. Apart from what's worse than B?
Palkia Noctowl.
Pidgeot Control,
Dragapult, double Dragapult.
Double Dragapult, Ancient Box, Ceruledge, Chenpao.
There's nothing in...
Sounds good.
It's not really enough in C, is it? Oh, yeah, we put Pidgeot Control. Oh, yeah, it's fine.
But honestly, like, I think that's... Like, I know the tier list looks weird and it feels cop-outish for us to dominate B tier, but that feels representative of the meta.
Yes.
In that you can't argue against people playing any of these B tier decks if that's their comfort pick. Or if they have a soul read.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm happy with that. And I'm hoping to see whatever Ben's created on the tier list maker. He probably doesn't reflect that.
I hope he's on MS Paint right now, putting numbers over a screenshot.
These numbers are definitely not what we said, but it's fine.
Good. Keep them guessing.
Yeah.
Keep them guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard work out there.
That's the whole point.
Right. So, we're going to see each other this weekend, obviously in Birmingham. Say hello to any of us if you would like to. We always appreciate the support. Rab, have you been able to get a Spilly Award prepared for?
Oh, please.
No. It's for EUIC. For EUIC.
Oh.
For EUIC. Okay, fine.
It's in the garage. I was. It's in the garage.
Are you whittling away?
Yeah. There is a puck of wood in the garage that I need to whittle down.
Stunning.
And I just need to get a random mug or cup.
Yeah, cool.
And then
perfect.
Will it have our faces on it? Can it be heat changing and it just shows our faces?
Well, it'll be our signatures. So we get to.
You have a signature.
When's the last time you've played in a regional? How long has it been for you? Over a year?
A year?
Yeah, long time actually. A long time. Yeah, really long time. I haven't thought about that actually. Yeah. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, probably a year.
As well?
Yeah, probably a year.
You didn't play
EUIC.
How's
your invite grind going down? How's your locals going?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, all of it rides on anything that's got to do with any larger tournaments, right?
Okay.
So I think I played the challenge. I played a cup. I played a cup and accidentally had on my list for Teal Mask Ogerpon and no Pheasantipity in my Regidrago, so that came out for an extra fire energy. That was fun. So lost top 8.
You're joking.
I mean, to be honest, I was close. I played a really weird game though, where I knew I could never Fez, so it had some really weird board states. But yeah, won a challenge. I think I'm at like 300 or just over 300. So now it's to see where.
That's not bad.
See where these.
One very good regional placement, right? And then, yeah, just a couple more big placements, and you're in biz.
Well, yeah, I've got 2 placements at regionals. Well, I've got 2 points finishes at regionals. I suppose say. And there's 3 left, right? It's that best of 5. Best of your.
Come on.
Might just win.
Cool. See what happens.
And then I'm working, so
might just
I'll
take United
be
Wings.
behind the. You actually sent me that message. And I'm working this one, so no pressure for me. I'm with Ross, Mike, and Shay. So, I mean, it's different. Not playing pressure.
Good gang.
Don't have to worry
Good
about
gang.
the list. Great gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. All UK lot.
Not the best gang. You're missing me and Rab.
Well, you'll be there.
Yeah. I'll be
Anyway.
there. All
Right. We done.
Yeah, we are done. Right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you at Birmingham. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.